Does it even start? The CEO mocked the single dad's race car, until she opened the trunk. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that the people we underestimate often carry the greatest strength. And trust me, by the end of this story, you'll never judge someone by appearances again. Does it even start? The laughter came instantly. Not one person in the crowded corporate parking lot tried to hide it. Several executives exchanged amused glances. A few employees covered their mouths. One man openly laughed so hard he nearly dropped his coffee. Standing beside an old race car covered with faded paint and patches of rust, Daniel Harper felt every eye on him. Then came the voice. Sharp. Confident. Humiliating. The voice belonged to Victoria Steele, the CEO of Steel Dynamics, one of the most successful automotive technology companies in the country. She folded her arms and looked at Daniel's car as if it were a pile of scrap metal. Seriously, she said. Does it even start? Another wave of laughter swept through the crowd. Daniel looked down. Not because he was ashamed. Because he knew if he looked directly at them, they would see the hurt in his eyes. And he couldn't afford that. Not today. Not when everything depended on this race. Not when his daughter was watching. 7-year-old Emma stood beside him wearing a small racing jacket that was several sizes too large. She squeezed his hand. Daddy? Daniel smiled. The smile wasn't real. But Emma didn't need to know that. Yeah, sweetheart. Our car is still the best one. Daniel knelt beside her. Why do you think that? Emma grinned. Because we built it together. For the first time all morning, Daniel's smile became genuine. Because she was right. Every bolt. Every wire. Every repaired panel. Every sleepless night. Every sacrifice. They had done it together. Victoria rolled her eyes. That's adorable. The way she said it made it sound like an insult. Daniel stood. He wanted to walk away. But there was nowhere to go. The annual Innovation Speedway Challenge had already begun. Hundreds of spectators had gathered. Media crews were everywhere. And the winner would receive a $5 million development contract. For giant corporations, it was another business opportunity. For Daniel, it was survival. 2 years earlier, his life had looked completely different. Back then he wasn't standing beside a broken race car. He wasn't struggling to pay rent. And he certainly wasn't wondering whether he could afford groceries next week. Back then, he had a wife. Her name was Sarah. She was the kind of person who could walk into a room and instantly make everyone feel safer. When Daniel doubted himself, Sarah believed. When he failed, Sarah encouraged him. When he dreamed, Sarah listened. Together they had built a simple but beautiful life. Not wealthy. Not glamorous. Just happy. Then everything changed. A drunk driver ran a red light. Sarah never made it home. One moment Daniel had a family. The next moment he was standing in a hospital hallway trying to explain to a 4-year-old girl why mommy wasn't coming back. Nothing prepares a person for that conversation. Nothing. For months afterward, Daniel operated like a machine. Wake up. Work. Take care of Emma. Try not to break down. Repeat. Every day felt heavier than the one before. The grief never disappeared. It simply became something he carried. Like an invisible weight tied around his chest. Then came another disaster. The manufacturing company where he worked downsized. His position disappeared overnight. Suddenly he was unemployed. A widowed father. With a young daughter. And bills that didn't care about his circumstances. Many people would have quit dreaming at that point. Daniel almost did. But Sarah had left him something. Not money. Not property. A notebook. Inside were years of ideas she had written down whenever Daniel talked about designing affordable high-performance automotive technology. One page contained a sentence underlined 3 times. If you ever stop believing in yourself, read this. The world needs what you can build. Daniel remembered crying when he found it. Not because of the words. Because it sounded exactly like her. That notebook changed everything. Instead of giving up, Daniel started working in his garage. He repaired old engines during the day. Worked on designs at night. And slowly, piece by piece, he began creating something special. An experimental racing system capable of dramatically improving efficiency and speed. No investors believed him. No banks supported him. No corporations listened. But Emma did. Every night she sat beside him in the garage. Holding flashlights. Handing him tools. Drawing pictures of race cars. Cheering for him when nobody else would. Years passed. The prototype improved. The technology improved. The dream survived. And eventually he entered the Innovation Speedway Challenge. The same event where Victoria Steele now stood laughing at him. Victoria represented everything Daniel wasn't. She was rich. Powerful. Connected. Her company arrived with multiple transport trucks, engineers, mechanics, and public relations specialists. Daniel arrived in a pickup truck with his daughter. The contrast was impossible to ignore. As race preparations continued, Victoria's team unloaded a stunning vehicle. It looked like something from the future. Carbon fiber body. Custom aerodynamic package. State-of-the-art technology. Spectators crowded around it immediately. Cameras flashed. Reporters rushed forward. Then they looked at Daniel's car. And walked away. Nobody wanted photos of the rusty underdog. Nobody believed he belonged there. Hours later, qualifying began. One by one, competitors completed their laps. Victoria's team dominated. Their times were incredible. The crowd erupted with applause. Then Daniel's turn arrived. The announcer struggled to sound enthusiastic. Next competitor, independent entrant Daniel Harper. Polite clapping followed. Nothing more. Daniel climbed into the driver's seat. Emma stood near the barrier. Nervous. Excited. Hopeful. He gave her a thumbs up. She returned it immediately. Then the countdown started. 3, 2, 1. The engine roared. And everything changed. The old race car exploded forward. Gasps echoed across the track. People who had been looking at their phones suddenly looked up. Spectators stood. Commentators interrupted each other. Because the impossible was happening. Daniel wasn't merely competitive. He was fast. Very fast. The battered vehicle flew through corners with astonishing precision. Every lap grew quicker. Every turn looked smoother. Every second shattered expectations. When he crossed the finish line, silence filled the stadium. Then the scoreboard updated. First place. Daniel Harper. The crowd erupted. Nobody could believe it. Least of all Victoria. For the first time all day, confidence disappeared from her face. She stared at the screen. Then at Daniel. Then back at the screen. As if reality itself had malfunctioned. But the numbers didn't lie. The single father everyone mocked had just taken the lead. And the biggest surprise was still waiting. Because later that evening, Victoria would walk over to Daniel's race car. She would pull open the trunk. And discover a secret that would completely change her understanding of success, family, and what truly makes someone rich. A secret that would leave her speechless. And a secret that Sarah Harper had unknowingly set into motion years before. The question was no longer whether Daniel's car could start. The question was whether anyone was prepared for what was hidden inside it.